The people didn't want to release the water because the water is owned, like there's water rights, and I think water was going to the rich neighborhoods where the golf courses are. He was talking about how some houses survived because they had the right roof. And everybody's like, see? This is the blue roof.
That's all it takes.
So conspiracy theorists like literally painting their roofs blue.
Joe Rogan just dropped some serious info about the recent fires in LA and their wild connection to the ones that happened in Maui. But here's the crazy part. Some celebrity homes in both spots survived these devastating fires, while several homes around them were completely destroyed, and people are starting to ask why. That's where Joe Rogan comes in. He's been dropping some serious knowledge, connecting the dots between the fires and some of the bigger names involved, and how these fires might be connected to a whole lot of hidden agendas. The fires in LA this year got everyone shook. Acres of land going up in smoke, people getting their insurance canceled 3 months before the fire, their homes getting destroyed, being displaced, shortage of water, and even some folks losing their lives. It's been a mess, and now people are starting to ask some real questions. How did this all happen? Was it just a natural disaster, or was there something more behind it? A lot of people are starting to suspect that the fires were started with a bigger purpose in mind, especially with Diddy's trial right around the corner. Some are pointing fingers at the fire as a way for some people to cover up their tracks. Think about it. Big names involved in some shady stuff, and now the fires burn away acres of land and some key properties. Sounds like a convenient way to hide some evidence, right? There has also been heavy talks about how the fires were lit on purpose to make land for more infrastructure and developments. One person even dropped a comment saying, "Two birds with one stone, get rid of evidence and make room for smart cities." Another comment even said, "Definitely done on purpose. There are no coincidences at all." And it's not just random people talking. A lot of people are connecting the dots, and some are pointing fingers at those with the most to hide. But before this all went down, Allie Carter had already warned us about these fires, but no one listened. She talked about how the fires were going to be used as a distraction, a way to sweep things under the rug and to make room for certain agendas. People didn't take her seriously back then, but now people are starting to look back at those warnings and thinking maybe she was onto something.
Okay, if you guys are on TikTok, you probably know who Allie Carter is. She had all the stories about the Diddy parties. One thing that she recently did say though is that watch for the fires because they are going to start getting rid of evidence.
Now, fast forward to Joe Rogan. He's been connecting the dots between the fires in LA and the wildfires in Maui that ravaged the region in 2023, leaving over 50 people dead. Rogan's been pointing out some strange similarities between the two. Both fires were massive, destroying homes and leaving entire communities in ruins. But here's where things get even more suspicious. While some celebs definitely lost their homes, there are others who came out of it just fine. So why is it that certain people's homes survived these fires while their neighboring house burned down?
What about infrastructure? Infrastructure's got to take...
I won't sit here while you disparage the great people
Sir,
that are running Los Angeles.
Sir, infrastructure's got to take a backseat to climate change and social justice and homeless abatement, which hasn't worked.
See, the lady who's responsible for filling the fire hydrants gets paid $750,000 a year.
Not getting real-time information.
You gotta go!
There was nothing to indicate what was going to happen based on the knowledge that we had.
Speaking of people surviving these wildfires, let's talk about someone who's been a pretty sus in all of this, Oprah Winfrey. While most people in Maui were losing everything, Oprah's properties somehow stayed untouched. And I ain't talking about no small property either. Oprah's been buying up hundreds of acres of land in Maui. In 2023, a viral tweet from Matt Wallace blew up the internet. He pointed out how Oprah had been scooping up land in Maui like crazy. We're talking about a 520-acre plot for $3.89 million, another 330 acres for $2.47 million, and even two 10-acre plots for just $100,000 each. This wasn't just a one-time deal either. Oprah went from owning around 100 acres in Maui to more than 1,000 acres in a few years. Then, out of nowhere, boom, the fires hit, and while so many homes were destroyed, Oprah's land, untouched. Does that sound like a coincidence? But it gets even weirder.
And at some point, I will make a major donation after all of the smoke and ashes have settled here, and we figure out what the rebuilding is going to look like. This is going to be a long and difficult process.
Back in 2017, a deadly fire destroyed homes near Oprah's Montecito mansion. But guess what? her property stayed safe. And as if that wasn't strange enough, Oprah kept buying more land in Montecito after the fire, adding over 70 acres, including a 4-acre complex she bought in 2019, which was destroyed by mudslides just a few weeks later. It's starting to look like a pattern, huh? Celebs like Steven Tyler, Owen Wilson, Woody Harrelson, Willie Nelson, and Jim Carrey have been living it up on the island. But check this out, there are also some tech moguls who own some of the most expensive properties on the island, and surprise, surprise, their homes didn't burn down either. Let's start with Peter Thiel, the co-founder of PayPal. Back in 2011, he dropped a whopping $27 million on a home in Makina on the southwest coast of Maui. This was the most expensive single-family home purchase in the area at the time, and it's just about 10 miles away from the fires in South Maui. But guess what? His house remained untouched. Then there's Jeff Bezos, who bought a 14-acre estate on La Perouse Bay for a cool $78 million last year. Now, this bay is only about 20 miles south of the fires in South Maui. And yet, Bezos and his partner Lauren Sanchez were on social media saying how heartbreaking the fires were, but their multi-million-dollar estate,
swirling around the millions of dollars donated by some of the world's wealthiest donors, including Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, who came under fire after an article by Bloomberg said no one knew where his pledge of $100 million was going.
safe. Oh, and we can't forget about Larry Ellison, the Oracle executive. This guy's got it made. In 2012, he bought 98% of the island of Lanai in Maui County. And guess what? Lanai wasn't hit by the fires at all. So it seems like another massive property just miraculously avoided the flames. Now, I'm not saying these celebs planned it, but come on. How is it that all these wealthy individuals who have properties in Maui seem to have their homes untouched by these devastating fires? People are starting to question how some people seem to always get lucky when disaster strikes and others are left to pick up the pieces. This whole situation is raising a lot of eyebrows, and Joe Rogan's been putting it out there that there's something shady going on. So here's the big question. Were these fires just another tragic accident, or was there something more behind them? Do you believe the fires were just bad luck, or is there something bigger going on behind the scenes? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button for more updates straight from the streets.